Neil from Essex here to show a little bit of my experience running a Wolfe Ridge Log Splitter. Never before did I think I was going to end up with a high-end piece of commercial firewood equipment out at my home, but became a little bit of a necessity the other day when Jack broke the log splitter.
That was not the other day, that was like 8 months ago.
Tell me, Jack, what happened to the log splitter?
I flipped it over with the tractor.
You flipped it over with the tractor?
I did.
How did that happen?
I hit it the wrong way. I don't know.
I, like many of you, had a box store log splitter here back in my backyard for last year's firewood season. We've always done a little bit of firewood back here behind the house. I don't burn firewood actually, but I have a lot to clean up out here, and processing that firewood along with Jack has kind of been part of our winter season, right? What do we do with that firewood?
I sell it at the end of the driveway.
We decided
Make money.
Make money. What do you do with the money?
Buy video games.
Buy video games. That's, my kid's video game fund comes from processing firewood. And it was years of running this box store log splitter. I can only describe it as my least favorite piece of equipment.
That was rude. I quite liked it.
The engine always had a hard time running.
That was fun.
We always had to use starting fluid to get it going.
That was also fun.
It leaked hydraulic fluid.
That was also fun.
You remember how when the ram came over, it would like load up, and when the firewood split, it would shoot off?
Yeah, that was humorous.
Also humorous? That was dangerous.
I just backed up.
So it never was a piece of equipment that I loved, and so frustrating here when Jack broke the log splitter, but ultimately the solution for this season was to bring out our rental Wolfe Ridge, and let me show you some of the things that I've learned about that.
Essex, a helping hand with your land.
In a minute, I'll walk through the splitter here and tell you how the controls work and tell you a little bit about the machine itself. But there's better videos on YouTube that have done that already, and even I have shot a bunch of other stuff on the Wolfe Ridge product line already. But coming at this kind of now is an operator who's had one in the backyard for a while. The biggest thing that has impressed me with this splitter is the production that we've been able to get out of it. When we used the old box store splitter before, the pace at which we would work through wood was glacial compared to what we're able to do with this. And that comes in a bunch of different places. The cycle time of the splitter moving front and back is obviously much faster than what those smaller splitters were. The work table over here on the side makes it much easier to get those bigger logs up and allows you to kind of stage your work. We come over here and stack 4 or 5 big rounds over on this table and lift it up, and then I'm able to stand here and work those logs through, so I'm not walking back and forth nearly as much. Also, by using a multi-way wedge, this has a 4-way on it now. I quickly understood why people buy 6-way and 8-way and 12-way wedges. You're much, much more productive than having to resplit logs over and over as often as what you did before. So there's a lot of reasons why you can just move through work so much faster with this. And if you're trying to make money selling firewood, going through and looking at your labor expense, the time that you're putting into it versus the wood that you're producing, it becomes very easy very quickly to be able to justify a piece of commercial log splitting equipment. When you're looking at most log splitters, you're probably used to having one hydraulic lever to move that cylinder front and back. This one has 4, and 4 is obviously better, right? When it came to our old splitter, Jack and I did run it together, obviously with some supervision, right? We're watching pinch points and that kind of stuff, but we would let him work the lever while I took the logs in and out. But in the case of this one, bud, what's the rule?
I'm not allowed to use it.
Dad runs the log splitter. So explain to me though here, bud, there's 4 different levers here, and what does each of these do?
This says retract, so it retracts. This moves this forward. This...
And we should say this is an auto system here. So if you take both of these and you push both forward, it'll go forward, split, and then what? Chunk it, and then return back to the starting position again automatically.
And this is the wedge.
Raises your wedge up and down.
And then this lifts that log lift over there to lift up the heavy stuff.
Now, when I first learned about the wedge, I was thinking here, you're gonna bring this thing up and down over and over and over again for every log to constantly be recentering that, but that's actually not how I use the wedge at all. If I bring a huge round up, yes, I might use that wedge in a high position in order to quarter it, but most of the time when I'm using the wedge, I'm setting it just high enough up off the bottom of the splitter to size my splits. I let the gap on the bottom be the size that I want my final split to be, and then I continue to feed the top sections from that split back around underneath again in order to continually resize things. So I don't actually move this as much as what you might think, but it is really handy to be able to bring it up to quarter things, and also bring it up as stuff gets stuck underneath the 4-way wedge. So we'll split a couple pieces here just to show how this thing works. I don't have like the hardest, nastiest wood out here to be able to really show off this thing's power, but I can tell you for as much firewood as I've been out here splitting and as much as we've done, I've yet to find anything that this thing hasn't pushed right through. It's never stalled on me, it's never gummed anything up, it keeps going all day long. Now you have an option on these whether you're getting the auto cycle valve or the manual return valve. This is the auto cycle version. It's a little bit more expensive, but it saves you that time. I find a lot of cases where I go through, I split my wood, and I allow the auto cycle to return while I go to get the next piece or I'm lifting the next one off the table. I don't love the auto cycle for the kids. That would be one place if I have a 16-year-old too. If he was out here helping me, the auto cycle makes me a little nervous in that regard. And we've heard that from some customers too, as we've been selling these to people. I've had a couple customers opt not for the auto cycle feature because they have family and stuff that's helping them. But anybody that is doing firewood commercially that's looking for that higher output, that auto cycle return saves you time. This log lift is obviously a huge plus too, so this is where Jack helps me over here. So Jack's able to roll over the rounds and stack things up on the table. The hydraulic lever for operating the table is over on this side of the machine, so it's easy for him to use. And that way two of us can work together. And again, I mentioned before, I take that wedge and I set it low to size the pieces coming off the bottom of here. And then I bring back around again the larger ones that I want to resplit. So as I said before, when we got out and started using one of these things, you could really start to understand the utility of it a lot better and also the different options that they have out there. So I already mentioned the wedges before. I totally could see the point of having more wedges on here to be able to split wood in more different directions more quickly. I see the need now for why they put sort tables here at the end to allow the chaff to fall out the bottom as small offcuts happen here. I understand why they offer larger trailers so you can haul these things up and down the highway faster, and why there's options with more hydraulic flow or more tonnage. The way that you use this splitter can really be tailored to the kind of operation that you have, and these things all make sense. Because when we first started looking at these things and not having this knowledge of how commercial firewood work, I absolutely looked at Wolfe Ridge and said, who on earth spends this kind of money for a log splitter?
I mean, true.
But after being out here for a while with Jack, I look at this and say, who on earth that's in commercial firewood would not own a machine like this? You almost need to be profitable and productive, and it absolutely justifies its price point.
So if you're shopping for a piece of equipment or you need parts and service needs for a machine you've already got, give us a call at Messick's. We're available at 1-800-222-3373 or online at messick's.com.
Good job.
Yay.